took me aside and put the oil on his hands and told me to drop my pants and rub my genitalia with the oil, and pulled me close and started kissing me heavily on the mouth. And I was really taken back by it and not understanding what was going on.
I said, so tell me about, your interview. And he said, well, I'm not supposed to tell anybody. Baba told me not to tell anybody. And I looked at him and I said, did he make oil for you? And his eyes got kind of big and he said, how did you know? And I said, did he rub it on you? And he said, yeah. He said, how did you know? And I said, because it happened to me.
To Elias' surprise, his father had had the same oiling experience when he first visited Sai Baba aged 18. The guru had told him it was a ritual healing process. Al accepted this, and when it happened to Elias, he saw nothing wrong. There are still some who are not afraid to pour scorn on Sai Baba's claims of divinity. The Sarva Premanand is India's leading guru buster and a rationalist. His mission is to expose any charlatan who pretends his magic tricks are miracles, and to rid his country of superstition and myth.
How many years have you been chasing Sai Baba then?
So I've been investigating him since 1968.
1968?
Investigating and drawing my conclusions and keeping it as a hobby.
What do you think of it
The
now?
thing is, we can explain miracles.
Yes.
We can expose people who act like miracle men. And it was in 1976 I started going to the public.
Today, we've hit the road with the rationalists to see them at work, persuading people to give up blind belief and become more scientific. We've come to the village of Belthangari. The people here are typical of the bulk of Sai Baba's followers. For the rationalists, this is the front line in the battle between superstition and science. Today, another leading rationalist is the ringmaster, revealing the tricks that lie behind Sai Baba's miracles. Narendra Nayak.
A few years back, a miracle was performed by Sai Baba in public. He showed his empty hands, waved it in the air, and he produced a chain. Both hands were empty, 5 fingers were apart. Just hold this empty hand like this and you're all busy looking at it. Just invert it like this, and here I produce a chain from thin air.
Narendra also reveals that the same technique is behind one of the Guru's most famous displays, the materialization of Vibhuti, a holy ash sacred to Hindus. It's the basic magician's trick of palming.
Great Sai Baba Puttaparthi gives ash to his devotees. He just takes his empty hand, waves it in the air like this, and when he brings it down, he produces holy ash from nowhere. Usually God men give with one hand, but I am giving with both the hands. How does it happen? Very, very easy.
So Narendra, how do you hide the vibhuti in your hand?
I just hide it in between my thumb and my index finger like this.
Can I try?
Yeah, just like that. But you must be absolutely relaxed so that nobody will know what's happening. Yes. And when you wave it in the air like this, you just crush it like this and you distribute the vibhuti to the people.
It's quite difficult to do actually, isn't it?
But we have practiced it quite a lot.
Okay.
Every miracle man rotates their hand before they produce something. Do you know why? People don't see the movement of the fingers because the hand is rotating.
Back at the ashram, and the Shivaratri festival was in full swing. But the strain of the promised miracle seemed to be taking its toll. The god was looking unwell. He'd pledged to give birth through his mouth to an egg-shaped object called a golden lingam. It's said to represent the mystery of the cosmos. There's little mystery to Sai Baba's own teachings. He urges people to believe in God, to be charitable, truthful, and peace-loving. It's not radical thinking, but perhaps that's the secret of its appeal. Mark Roach devoted 25 years of his life to Sai Baba. He first heard of him in 1969 and soon joined the local centre in California. The Guru's message was the big attraction.
The teachings themselves were very universal and adopted the attitude of embracing all other religions, so that it wasn't a matter of this religion opposed to that you had to leave whatever you were in to be associated with Sai Baba. It was something that just be a better Christian or a better Jew or a better whatever it is, rather than necessarily having to leave it. Mixed with the fact that the person who is the head of that is claiming to be God himself.
It's a special moment when God calls. And Mark couldn't believe his luck when he was summoned for a private interview. But he emerged shocked and confused. Just like the Ram, Sai Baba had oiled his genitals. 2 years later, Mark was called for an audience again.
He kept saying stuff like that. I'm giving you a great chance. Millions want to touch the feet. You know, I'm giving you a whole body. This is a great chance. This is a great chance. Then he went over to a different part of the room and pulled up his dhoti, which is an Indian garment kind of thing, and exposed himself and sort of indicated that I was supposed to put his penis in my mouth, which, feeling intimidated and confused and all that, I did. And although it didn't seem right to me, but it just seemed like what I was supposed to do.
Why would God want to put his penis in your mouth?
Got me?
One of the things that a lot of the abuse victims we've talked to have said is that Sai Baba does these genital oilings because it's part of Hinduism. Have you ever heard anything?
For one, it's nothing to do with, there's no Indian tradition to support the fact that, you know, worship of the linga includes also doing the blowjob. If that is what you are referring to, I don't think there's any basis for that whatsoever. Stand